Okay, well, I'm live. This is a kind of a shipping video. I did my shipping today. It was a bunch of small stuff, nothing really to talk about to show what I shipped today. But I did want to take a minute and talk about shipping and a lot of complaints that I hear on Facebook and in the Facebook different collector groups, Pyrex and Fire King and different groups that I'm a part of. I see a lot of people complaining about eBayers and about eBay sellers who can't package. And you see some of the pictures of the things that these folks post, and you wonder how somebody could ship an item that way. And I'll tell you how that happens. If you want to know how that happens, it's because there's an old thing about, what is it, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. If you're going to buy something from somebody and it's expensive or inexpensive, either way, if you go on eBay and you buy a big Pyrex bowl like this, and the seller sells it for $15 free shipping, and you live in California and they live in Florida, it's going to cost them a lot more than $15 to ship it to you. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to try to make that package as lightweight as they possibly can in order to ship that package. They're gonna skimp on bubble wrap. They're gonna skimp on packaging material. They're gonna skimp on their boxes. They're gonna do everything they can to try to make sure that they save money, because that's what they're thinking of. They're not thinking of what they should have done. Is they should have had the bowl listed for $30, and if they want to put free shipping, or list the bowl for $15, but don't put free shipping on it. If you're a buyer of something on eBay, and you have every right to expect to get your bowl in the same condition it was pictured, and that's great and all, but honestly, if you buy a $15 bowl from somebody and they have free shipping on it, you got to realize that it's going to cost them more than that, and the likelihood is you're going to get a broken bowl. It's just the way it's just, or you buy from somebody that doesn't have any experience. They have 50 feedbacks. Most of them are as a buyer. Hi, BB. Most of them are as a buyer, and they don't really know how to ship. If I don't want to denigrate new eBay sellers, but sometimes there's a learning curve, and they need to experience, some of the bad things in order to some of the things that can happen from not being, the best they can be at what they're doing. So, I don't want to put it. I just sold today. I sold 5 of these Fire King mugs. Now they're all different colors. Well, there was 2 green ones, a orange one, a blue one, and this white one. And what I'm gonna do with it, you can see I've already got 4 of them packaged over here, is I'm gonna put it. This is I don't want to say this is how it should be shipped, but this is, the buyer emailed me afterwards and said, hey, please be careful. So I told him I'd do my best. So, that's a thought, is please be careful. But wouldn't it be nice if a buyer could buy from a seller on eBay and not have to say that, and not be concerned about whether or not the item was going to get to them? One of the biggest detriments of free shipping is exactly that. Free shipping makes it so that sellers who aren't that savvy with their costs will underprice their item. Obviously, with free shipping, they've underpriced their shipping costs, and all of a sudden they realize they're gonna lose their rear end on their shipping expenses. So the natural inclination there is to attempt to find a way to go cheap to ship it out, and then they end up with a buyer who's very upset because the item they got in the mail was broken. Well, of course you agree with me, Kelly. You're very smart. Um, but seriously, that I mean, free shipping is not a good deal for either side. Typically, a lot of times, I granted, I mean, yeah, uh, if you're buying this, you know, and that comes in that's a different thing. But free shipping on a piece of Pyrex, a nice piece of Pyrex, it's just not, unless you're going to pay a higher price going in. But you really should, as a buyer, be aware that I have 13,000 feedbacks, but that's not that important either, because a lot of times you can have people that are pretty new to eBay, but they're these big companies and they don't really care either. But I've been selling since 1999, so 13,000 feedbacks is just a matter of time. It's just time, and that's the thing you have to figure in when you're buying from eBay. Is you got to look. Again, I don't want to denigrate newer sellers, but at the same time, not everybody has the knowledge that they should have to ship a package. So sometimes, a buyer will actually tell the shipper how they want it shipped, which can come across as offensive sometimes. People get offended by that. So anyway, that's I packaged each one of these mugs that way. Why? Because it's going to California, and I'm in Pennsylvania, and they paid for shipping. Now, I only got $15 for the 5 mugs, but they paid for shipping, so I'm not going to lose money on shipping, and everything is packaged in a way that it's going to get there. So then I can take all 5 of these mugs and put them in here. And this buyer is going to get, they're going to get their item in one piece. They're not going to have to worry about their item not getting to them, or getting to them broken. And that's, I realize a lot of the folks that watch my videos are actually sellers. But honestly, you have to consider what, as a buyer. There's also that aspect as a buyer, what you should be looking for. And I think as a buyer, me personally, I try to look for experienced sellers. Again, not always necessarily. I can trust somebody to send me a shirt. That's not a problem. I know somebody's gonna send me a shirt if I want a shirt, or certain things. But if I was buying expensive electronics, I don't think I'd want to buy something from somebody with 20 feedback. I'm just being honest. I mean, I don't really think they have the experience. That's how it is in the beginning. You're learning, and I mean, if you go to the doctor and you have to have brain surgery, which doctor do you want? Do you want the brain surgeon that's done 2,000 of these operations, or 200 of these operations, or do you want the brain doctor this is his first time solo? You kind of want you really don't want the guy that doesn't have any experience, or even very little, and that's, and that's what you got to think about as a buyer. If you're a buyer on eBay, do yourself a favor. If you're buying something that's breakable or perishable or something like that, buy it from somebody who knows what they're doing. And be willing to pay a little bit more as far as shipping goes. Free shipping is not always the best way. I mean, it's a great way if the item. I mean, if somebody's sending you a book, it's pretty hard to break a book. But yeah, I've heard stories, about some kinds of things. So, and again, even with books, it depends on the condition and what you're selling it as. I mean, if it's a first edition signed book by an author and it was a $300 sale, you're not going to stick it in a bubble envelope. And if you do stick it in a bubble envelope, you can expect the bad things that are going to happen to you. And your buyer's not going to be happy. So anyway, that's my little, I don't know if you want to call it a preach-a-mony or what, but That's just my little thoughts that I was having while I was packaging these things. Is that uh, as a buyer, you know, buyer beware. Don't if look for you don't go to a car lot where everybody knows that the guy's a thief. You go to the car lot where everybody trusts the guy. That's just what you do. You're a mechanic. You don't go to a mechanic that you know is going to rip you off and not do the job. You just they get away with it once and that's it, and you never go back. And I think as a buyer on eBay, you need to be the same way. So um, I see this a lot in Facebook groups. So people, I never see anybody in the Facebook group talking about what a great job their seller did getting their eBay seller did getting that. They don't talk about it. They never talk about that. They always, it's always, oh, look at this nightmare, and they open the box up and there's one piece of paper in there and a smashed thing, So I'm glad you caught me too. That's good. I love that. So yeah, it's just people don't usually praise people for anything. They just, if things don't work out their way, they pitch a fit and they complain and of course naturally, if you're a seller, you're going to hear about it and you might end up with negative feedback, or you're definitely going to end up with the loss of a sale, whether you refund them for you're not packing it properly, or whether they do a chargeback on your credit card. You're going to lose. So it's in your own best interest to go a little bit overboard on your shipping. Even if you're going to lose money, it's better to make the customers make sure they get what they want, even if you lose money, because listen, I mean, like I said, they always complain in the Facebook groups about the eBay sellers. They always complain, but they don't speak well of them. So that makes it, yeah, a handwritten note is nice. Some people don't like that though. So I used to do that. I used to have a nice a note in there a long time ago, but I don't really do that anymore because people just consider it junk mail. So it's just something else for them to throw away. So there's all kinds of folks out there. Some people love that sort of that little personal touch. Some people just don't. They don't care. They just want their stuff. And that's what it comes down to, is people they just want their stuff. So when they get a box and their item is broken, they're very disappointed. And that's going to come back on you, the seller, but not just you, the seller. That's going to come back on eBay and eBay's reputation. So that's going to impact all of us that sell on eBay. That should be important to you. That should be important as a seller, unless you don't really care. In which case, my hope is that you end up getting kicked off the platform. No, it's not, I don't want to be that way. My hope is that you learn very quickly that that's the wrong attitude to have. So I would hate to see someone get kicked off the platform, because a lot of people depend on it for their living, and you have to take that into account. If you really depend on that money that you're getting from eBay, or in whatever way, protect it. You need to protect that. That's your store. You got to protect the reputation. You got to make sure that the people that are coming there are happy about it, and they like coming into your store, and they like buying stuff. You don't have a bad reputation where it makes people go, oh, you don't want to go there. They're too expensive, or their stuff is all junk, or you really don't want that if you can help it. Some people love junk stores. Personally, I love a junk store. But that's me though. So anyway, that's my little story for today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope it was encouraging. I hope like I said, if you're a buyer beware. That's just it. You gotta protect your own investment as a buyer as well. So y'all have a great day. I'm gonna go up there and get this stuff, get postage on this, and get it down to the post office before they close. So it's always a blessing talking to you folks. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.